Hello YouTube, today we're talking upper chest. So the upper chest with the real delt, with the traps, are muscles that are largely associated with steroid users and for good reasons because they tend to develop extremely well when you start taking those products without you having to do anything for it. But because on this channel I only promote natural lifting, I need to find ways to develop those enhanced muscles without jumping on the juice. So for me, the upper chest is sort of a conundrum because it's never been an area of my body that I tried to develop and I don't really care for it much. Chest, overall, I don't really care for. It's just like the shoulders, those are not body parts that interest me because they don't fit my aesthetic. That being said, I want to train all of my muscles, so I tried and developed ways to best target the chest over time, but the upper chest is it's been something that I started really focusing on maybe 3 to 4 months ago. And by that I mean that I've always been the type of person that thought that I would get a big upper chest just doing presses. And for some people it's true. And that's sort of the issue with upper chest in general. A lot of people preach just pressing, right? Horizontal, vertical, all of that good stuff. Some people even say that the only thing you need for upper chest is overhead press. That might be true for certain type of frames, right? The way your muscle inserts, you might get a lot of development from that. I'm not saying the opposite. And it's also true that when you do an horizontal press, for example, the entire chest contracts. You can't really selectively decide to only work the lower portion of the chest, right? Everything is going to contract. But certain areas are going to get hit harder. For me, doing bench really develops the lower portion and the meat of the chest and that sweep, but it's never really done anything for me for the upper and inside of the chest. And a large portion of that is mind muscle connection. A lot of people don't really think that matters at all. It does for me. Why? Because once you've created a pathway with that muscle, you feel it work. And because you feel it work, you can actually engage it in those movements. Now, presses are not going to be the best movements to engage the inner and upper chest. A lot of people like incline press for the upper chest. If it works for you, good. I'm not the science guy, but if you look at the level of activation and stuff, it doesn't really activate the upper chest more than horizontal presses when tonnage is actually bring down to the same level. But again, if you like it, do it. One way I found to develop the upper chest that works for me and I think would work for anyone is doing flies with these, meaning that you can do them standing up or on a bench. I like doing them standing up. You just put them underneath your feet and then with your arms in a supinated position, you're going to bring the arm up and you can bring it inside, you can bring it here, but when you bring it inside, you really feel the entirety of the chest contracting, and you're also really going to feel it here. So the inside of the chest is really going to squeeze and contract. And this is not just some woo-woo exercise you do once or twice and that's it. No, you need to do metrics amount of it because you're going to do them with a band. Now, if you like to do them with cables, do them with cables. There's no issue with that. I personally don't have cables, so I do bands. And with bands, and it also goes the same for cable, you don't want to go heavy. The issue with that movement is the portion of the body that is the most vulnerable when you do this. It's not the chest. You're not going to injure the chest. You could, however, hurt your shoulder or you could hurt your bicep. The bicep is less likely, but still. So you want to do that light for high reps. It's also going to help you get a pump and a connection. And you're going to find time after time as you do it that you start really feeling some sensation in the inner chest and upper chest. You start being able to squeeze that upper chest in between the collarbones and the lower portion of the pec. And after a while, it's going to start also giving you sensations when you do presses. And that's when you've made it, in my opinion. I personally recommend also trying to do that in between bench sets. It's not going to take any strength away from your horizontal presses, I can guarantee you that. And it's going to help you get that full contraction of the chest so that you can build it entirely. And of course, the thing with the upper chest as well is it depends on how much fat you pack in that area. Some people don't pack that much fat, so when they get cut, they get that deep separation that is clearly visible here between the lower portion and the upper portion of the chest. For me, I'm not really too focused on that. I'm more focused on building up the muscle so that no matter if you're a little bit fluffy or not, you still get that massive meaty look. And that's going to be it. I don't have any other options or accessories to show you for the upper chest because that's all I do. And that's all I'm going to keep doing because I want to see how far I can push the upper chest just with that. If you want more stuff, you can also do push-ups. There are certain variations of the push-up that are going to require you to use more upper chest. That can be a good thing. However, I would, and that's I'm going to end the video on this, I would highly encourage you to use horizontal presses to target the upper chest in an isolation type, because a lot of the time when people do that, they do guillotine press or neck press, and that is very demanding on the shoulder. You have better ways to isolate that upper chest. You don't need to go to that extreme because the health of your shoulder is more important than the size of your upper chest. Keep that in mind. But I firmly believe that natural lifters can also develop a massive upper chest, and I am dead set on proving that on the channel with the flies. So that's going to be that for this video. If you have certain strategies or techniques to share with this community about the upper chest, let us know in the comments. I'm always interested to discuss with you. Thank you. Have a good day.